The 3 has been Mazda's compact sedan and hatchback entry since around 2003 or 2004. This current generation was revealed in 2018 and could be one of the best cars you can get today. Let's find out why. What we have here is the 2024 Mazda 3 2.0 HEV Fastback, and it's priced at 1,790,000 Philippine pesos. Now we're actually inside the Mazda 3 HEV Fastback, but let's start by talking about the exterior. We're just protecting ourselves from the many insects that are attacking us on the outside. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the exterior first. So I have to say that this is one fine looking car. The front fascia is very sleek, especially with the Kodo design language, which it looks very aggressive, it looks very sleek, it looks very premium compared to its rivals. Since this is a hatchback, or what Mazda calls fastback, it gets a black grille for a little sportiness, and there's also full LED headlights with an adaptive front lighting system or AFS, where this follows the direction of the steering wheel when you turn. Personally, my only issue with the front fascia is the placement of the license plate. So as you can see, it's located under the Mazda logo. I'd rather have it a bit lower into the bumper. And then moving to the side, it's very minimalist, especially here in the hatchback. The C-pillar has been very controversial, so there is that, but over time it will grow on you. It did grow on me. I didn't like it when this car first came out. And this rides on 18-inch gray alloy wheels wrapped in Bridgestone tire, and I think they'd be better in black, but you can get that on the lower variant if you want the lower variant, which is basically the same as this one. And towards the back, it also looks very sleek. So the taillights here, the LED tails are very recognizable from afar, and I only think that it needs a larger spoiler, but you can get that in the Mazda accessories, and I think that's probably just for me. And then once you open the tailgate, it will reveal around 300 to 400 liters of space, which is very competitive not only with hatchbacks but also some crossovers. And I think this can fit maybe one large piece of luggage, or two mediums, or even 3 to 4 pieces of small luggage. And yeah, I think that's all good when it comes to space. So this is very practical as well. And before we talk about the interior now, you'll definitely love the turn signals in this car. So Mazda has designed them to be like a heartbeat, so they just look very unique, and it also makes the car even more recognizable when you see it from afar. Now let's get on with the interior. So as you can see here, just like the exterior, the interior of the Mazda 3 does look very unique. It looks very sleek, and this is definitely one of the best in the segment, if not the best. So it's very premium, it looks very unique. There's this 3-layered design over there, which I don't know, it just looks special overall. And the materials they used as well. So we have loads of soft touch plastics on top, and this leather portion over here with brown stitching. It's just very nice to feel everything, and everything feels solid. So Mazda's done a very good job. Same with the door panel. So you have the same material, soft touch on top, this leather portion in the middle, and more soft touch leather on the armrest and on the door side. So that's all very nice over here. Then our steering wheel also looks very nice. So it's a 3-spoke design, very thin spokes actually, and this rather small horn pad area in the middle. So that looks very sleek as well. It looks very premium, and the material here is similar to what you would find in many luxury German cars or luxury cars in general. So very premium, and it does have a decent amount of adjustability. So as you can see, good amounts of tilt and reach, a lot of that as well. So that's very nice to have. It makes it easier to find a proper driving position. We also have here our controls for our infotainment system and our trip computer, which we'll get to in just a bit, and then our Mazda i Active Sense ADAS feature. So we have our adaptive cruise control and our lane keep assist. So those are very nice over there. We also have paddle shifters, by the way. Then we have here a very traditional set of analog gauges with a 7-inch, I believe, display in the middle. So I really like how this looks. It looks very premium. It looks very simple, which I like. It's none of that fully digital nonsense that just looks weird sometimes or kind of gets confusing. So this is very simple, very easy to understand. Anyway, let's listen to our horn. So it's a very nice European horn, very loud actually, and it just brings the premium when you get mad at someone. Anyway, let's talk about this infotainment system over here. Well, everyone goes with large touchscreen systems that are portrait or whatever. Mazda went different routes. So they put the screen a bit back, and the screen is not touch screen. So you have to control it with these controls over here, buttons and knobs. I forgot what they call it, but yeah, you have to control it with that down here. And we also have a volume knob over here, but once you get used to it, it is very easy to use. At first it might be a bit confusing, but once you get used to it, it's very easy. So we do have a lot of information over there, and of course our infotainment stuff, our usual infotainment stuff, navigation, our phone connectivities, and here we even have a hybrid display, because what we have again is the mild hybrid variant. So it's a hybrid display, so it looks like it's a full hybrid, but it's actually not. But anyway, it shows us how the battery is working, how the engines are powering the wheels or whatever, how much charge you have in that small battery. But yeah, we'll just talk about that more once we're driving. And also we have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so of course they're very nice as usual, although it is a bit hassle to type in when you want to type a destination or a person's name. So just use Siri or whatever voice command you have for Android phone. So yeah, anyway, we have dual zone automatic climate control, still knobs and buttons, so very much appreciated. Everything is traditional and makes it so much easier to use, and yeah, it's just so much more intuitive. And then down here we have a wireless phone charger and then 2 cup holders. The wireless charger can also act as a storage area. Then here, a traditional gear shifter as well. I like that, and it also feels very nice when you are changing gears. And also we have our 360 camera, by the way, in this variant, so it's not the most HD, it does do its job very well, and of course we like having that. This also has front parking sensors, by the way. Then right next to that we have our drive mode selector and our electronic parking brake with our auto hold function. Then here in the center console, you see we have a very large armrest actually, and it does slide back before you can open it, and inside is a decent amount of storage space, not the usual small ones that you get in these compact cars, but this one gives you a lot of space. And we also have 2 USB-C ports over there and a 12-volt power outlet. I also did forget to mention that we have here a 12-speaker Bose audio system, so that's standard on both variants, and it's one of the best Bose. Some cars, they just have a Bose audio system just to say that it's branded, but this car really takes Bose sound system to the next level, so it just sounds great. You should try it out for yourself. And for our seats, so these are wrapped in leather, of course. That's what you already expect at this price point, and it does have some brown stitching and some brown perforations, which does brighten it up a little bit. This does replace the red seats you could get before, but yeah, this one does look a bit more premium rather than sporty, and it does feel very nice. I'm not sure if this is a special kind of leather or just regular leather or synthetic leather, but yeah, it does feel very nice. I've never found any issue with these seats so far. And right above me you can see that we do have a sunroof, so very nice to have as always. I really like having sunroof. And now we're at the back of the Mazda 3 Fastback or hatchback, and as you can see, this isn't exactly the most spacious. So I'm 5 feet and 7 inches in height, and I just have the right amount of space back here. So footroom is not much, especially if the seat is positioned a bit lower, and legroom is okay. It's not the biggest again, but it will do. Knee room is also on the tighter side, so I don't have like maybe 1.5 inches or 2 of knee room over there. Headroom is also a bit tight, especially with the sunroof over there. Maybe if they put a panoramic sunroof in the future, maybe this will become a bit more spacious, especially if the glass goes all the way here. But right now it is a bit on the tighter side back here, so taller people will not really enjoy this spot in this car, but still it's very comfortable, especially for someone like me. The seat material follows through from the front, so we have the same leather with brown accents and perforations, so that's really nice. And then we have this center armrest over here with 2 cup holders, and the door panels have the same materials as well as in front, so they didn't cheap out at all with this car. And now we're driving the Mazda 3 2.0 HEV Fastback. So despite it being called an HEV or hybrid electric vehicle, it's actually a mild hybrid, so we'll get to that in just a bit. But yeah, so this is my first time to drive the Mazda 3 HEV, and I've driven the non-hybrid variant or non-mild hybrid variant. My friend owns one, so I get to drive that. And what I can say is that you really can't tell the difference between the two until you actually drive it for a longer period of time, and the differences are not really obvious, so we'll get to that each one right now. So anyway, this is powered by a 2-liter naturally aspirated Sky Active G gasoline engine, and that produces 164 horsepower and 213 Newton meters of torque per 6-speed automatic transmission. And it also has a 24-volt mild hybrid system, or M hybrid system as Mazda calls it. So it's not the usual 48-volt that we get with some other cars. It's just a 24-volt, but it does work to help give us fuel saving. So let's get on to the fuel economy already. We usually end the video with that, but let's talk about that first. So in the city, we're able to get around 12 kilometers per liter in the city. And on the highway, around 22 kilometers per liter. So those are excellent numbers actually, considering especially that the non-mild hybrid variant of this only gets around 8 to 9 kilometers per liter in the city and just up to like 16 or 17 on the highway. So the mild hybrid system does really help to improve the fuel economy, and it also gives us that little bit more horsepower. I believe it's around like 6 or 7 horsepower more and 13 Newton meters more compared to the non-mild hybrid variant. But yeah, speaking of those numbers, the power and torque, everything is good in this car. It's not the fastest, it's not the quickest also, but it does feel very nice to drive. It's very responsive. It's very, I don't know, it just feels so good. So once you put your foot down, the engine reacts immediately, it responds immediately. It's very smooth in its operation. The 6-speed automatic transmission is just perfect. So there really isn't anything to complain when it comes to driving, except for the fact, again, it's not the quickest. Its rival, the Honda Civic with the turbocharged engine, will definitely feel a lot faster, especially once they introduce that rumored hybrid Honda Civic. But still, I just really love how this drives. It feels connected. So I don't know, you just really feel connected to the car when driving this. The steering response is excellent. So just any inputs actually. So you can see that I'm adding very small inputs, but the car immediately responds. So I love how that is. Mazda has done a very good job when it comes to the handling of this car. Obviously, with its low stance, when you're taking some corners, it will be very planted on the road. So that's just, I don't know, I'm just really lost for words at how this car drives, especially with so many cars these days just putting the most horsepower they can, just saying that they have this feature and whatnot. So this one just really feels like a true driving machine, and it doesn't disappoint at all when it comes to the driving experience. And also that steering is a bit weighted, so that's what Mazda has done here to give you more feedback as well. Most cars these days just give you the lightest steering they can to supposedly make it easier to drive, but it ends up with you getting a very boring car. It just feels very vague. It feels like nothing, and those aren't really that nice. So this one just feels so good overall. And when it comes to ride quality and NVH insulation, is also so good. So road noise is non-existent in this car. Well, I mean it's there, but it's not so loud. The tires are probably the good kind, and the insulation they put in this car is just so good as well. Wind noise, obviously we don't have that anymore because this car is very, very aerodynamic in its design. So Mazda's done that very well as well. And the ride quality is, I mean, you can see probably right now that I'm kind of shaking. So the road we're on is quite bumpy, and the Mazda 3 is admittedly a bit on the firmer side compared to its rivals. Although I think it's about the same as the Honda Civic RS, but I'm not too sure anymore. But yeah, it's on the firmer side, which is not surprising given the sporty nature of this car as well. So that's the trade-off that you will have to deal with if you choose this over its rivals, if you want a sporty drive compared to just a comfort-oriented one. But still, it's all good. It's not really that bad. It's manageable. And once you are on smoother surfaces, the road we're on is just really so bad. But yeah, once you're in a better surface, it'll be a very nice place to be in. But I just want to go back to the engine again because I just really love how put your foot down a bit and the car instantly responds. So I did do it a bit slowly there, so let's do it again. So I put my foot down and there it goes. It just responds immediately, which you don't really get these days anymore, especially with all those DCTs and CVTs and turbocharged engines. It's just really different to have a normal, a larger, naturally aspirated engine as your engine in your cars these days. And overall, just driving this car, it's really hard to give it any fault. So we have the excellent exterior, this very nice and solid interior, very well built, and that very good response and connection between the driver and the car while obviously driving. But the only thing that I can really say that I don't like about this car is probably the visibility, because I'm in the best driving position I could get, and there are still sometimes that you cannot see the hood of this car very well because of the positioning of the dashboard. So it's a bit high, and yeah, so it just really affects visibility a bit. At least we do have 360 cam and blind spot monitoring in this car. Also, the door panels are a bit higher than usual, but not a problem at all. And yeah, it's very easy to see out still despite those minor visibility issues. But the most, well, not the most, the biggest visibility issue of this car is probably at the back. So as you can see, that the C-pillar that I mentioned earlier, which was quite controversial in the past, is really the biggest issue because of this car, because it does affect rear visibility by quite a lot. So you can see that the windshield is very small. If you look out, and you really can't see much out back, so just look out there, there's really not much you can see. But again, at least we do have those ADAS systems, which we'll talk about now. So we have front cross traffic alert, rear cross traffic alert, and those also help. The 360 cam really helps, and blind spot monitoring again. Since this is the HEV front, we do have the full suite of Mazda's iActive Sense advanced driver assist system. So we have radar cruise control or adaptive cruise control, and then we also have autonomous emergency braking. We have the usual stuff, and they do perform very well. They're very easy to trust. Other cars, they just put them as well for the sake of saying that, oh, we have this in our car, we have this equipped. But the Mazda 3 and the iActive Sense is very much like what you get from Toyota and Honda and Subaru, that they were really designed to work properly, to work very safely, and to be something that you can trust with the car safety and of course your safety. And overall, it's just so easy to like this car, so easy to love. It's really hard to find fault with it. It's like everything was done with the customer in mind. Everything was designed properly, everything is intuitive, everything feels substantial, and that's what's important these days, especially with just, I don't know, the random whatever cars that we get from time to time. This one just feels so good. It's very proper, and honestly, it might even be better than some luxury car options you can buy today. And this one does everything that those can do for, I don't know, half the price. The Mazda 3 is not always top of mind for most buyers. Most will choose between the Toyota Corolla Altis or Honda Civic. I personally think that this is the best you can get, and it might even be one of the best you can among all cars. Mazda has done a very good job to make this car connect with the driver and other occupants. Try it out for yourself, you'll definitely want one.